Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the technical trader at thetechtrader.com. It's Saturday, the 20th of August. This is the weekend webinar. Another eventful week in Wall Street as the markets did well early in the week and then pulled back at the end of the week after being a bit extended, to say the least. We've gone from S&P 3,700 to 4,300 just in the last 3 weeks. And we hit the top of the declining tops line, the channel top there, and pulled back. Now we'll see if this short-term channel holds, whether lateral price support at around the 41.85 area and the 21-day moving average at around the 41.57 area, whether that zone can hold or not. If the we'll have to just see. That's important because if we don't, we're going to have a deeper retest, which feels like it could be likely. Nasdaq 100, similar action. You can see the declining top line was tagged, lateral price resistance was tested, but not able to get through by more than a few points and back down again. Right now, your key support, Nasdaq 100, is just about, let's call it 12.8 currently, but we also have some support above that. That's a big area though, and if you get down below that, you're looking closer to 12.3 and even 12,000. Let's hope we don't see that. The IWM small cap index, similar action. Up near the channel top earlier in the week, not quite getting to resistance up around the 2045 area, reaching as high as 202, and then pulling back right to the support line. So I think early next week is going to be important for all the indices. We'll see if we can hold it or not and extend. The transportation index, very similar action. We've had a 1, 2, 3, 4, and if we can hold, great, and we can extend this rally. If we get the transportation index above 15.67 area. Well, the exact resistance right now is going to be 15.7, right? So above that, that's where we extend this rally. And because we're extended short term, we may have a pullback retest. So all the indices are configured the same way. They've all rallied back from channel bottoms to channel tops. There's the transportation. The IWM is broken out of that. The only index, the NDX, right back up to the declining tops line. And you can see the S&P 500 as well. So going to be important what happens early next week. Let's look at the major components. Apple's had a monster rally, 129 to 176 in the last 2 months. And then the pullback on Friday where it dropped 263, just 1.5%. Nevertheless, we're on the sharply rising trend line. It's always difficult to maintain this kind of a rising angle. So we may get a deeper retrace towards 165.6. Amazon broke out 2 weeks ago and then got up to resistance but backed off. Key support is the gap support right there. 132.3 zone is going to be important for Amazon. Wouldn't be surprised if we tested it though. Right now, this might be the angle of ascent. And you can see how a little bit more pullback and we can be in a buying zone. Google, nice little base breakout retest. But it's got to hold around here, otherwise it's going to get test this declining tops line there. Microsoft broke out of its short-term declining, longer-term declining tops line, got up to lateral resistance, and that's where it pulled back. Now its key support is in the 270.75 zone. We'll see if we can hold it above that though. Netflix, well, certainly came out of a double bottom, rising wedge, broke out, got to right to the gap. I mean, right to it, double top and backed off a little bit. So this might be the angle of ascent. Key is on Netflix that we broke the declining tops line a week and a half ago and got up to the gap. Gap resistance is big. If we do get through it, 275 or 6 might be a target. Meta's not acting well. Able to get through the short-term declining tops line and roll back. And in my opinion, it's the worst-looking Nasdaq 100 component right now. Tesla broke out to triple resistance, ran up to that area, where there was a prior rally high, back to fill this wedging in here. I just don't want to see Tesla take out 838. Below that, you have a problem. Above 945, they could roll up back up to 1,050, 60. So that's a look at the components and now the underlying technicals in the indices with the McClellan oscillator having gone to plus. I always warned you when this thing got up to 150, 60, 70, well, it got up to 192. It's the highest reading in a couple months. And now it's back down to minus 31. So we're not oversold, but we're kind of a negative neutral. We'll see where we go from there. The VIX also plummeting. Excuse me. It's been, even though it was up on Friday by 5%, it's really in a declining channel. Only if it breaks back out again and runs back up to 25, what the target would be. But I consider, the rally completely over. It probably is, but this one just hasn't responded. And the percentage of stocks above their 40 look like this. Still 72% of stocks remain above the 40. You can see that it's pulled back a little bit. It was up as high as 81. So hanging tough though, near 72%. All right, let's go to some of the ETFs we follow closely. The SMH, very interesting action. Multiple waves down, 5 waves, V bottom, little inverse head and shoulders, or right hand extended V, and then a run up through 2 trend lines, but the lateral price resistance where there were 3 or 4 tops thwarted the advance, and now we have a neckline of what looks like an inverse head and shoulders, but we need the right shoulder to form. So we may come down into the 220, 25 zone, and then see if we can hold it there. That'd be ideal, and then a turn up. Key resistance now 250. Financials broke out of their 5-wave decline, ran up to resistance, did the same thing as the semiconductor SMH. So it's kind of interesting that we're getting the pullback that normally we'd want to see after a trendline break. Just don't want to see it too deeply. Like to see it hold around 79.80 zone. And finally, in that group that I follow closely, obviously LABU and XBI, biotechs had a wonderful time of it, but they backed off too to the trend line. So a lot of what we're seeing are trend line tests. A breakdown from here, it could exacerbate pretty quickly and accelerate to a deeper Fibonacci retracement. On this one, closer to back to the $8 range. XBI, the other ETF I follow in biotechs, very similar pattern, rising channel, pull back near the trend line, but any break of that level, we may retest these high 70s. Okay, and now we're going to look at some of the ETFs in the gold and silver sector. Look at this. Now, I'm not sure why anybody is interested in gold because I'm not. The reason I'm not is I've seen 1, 2, 3, 4. And the 5th wave may have already started. They could take, for example, the GDX, which was trading in the low 40s, now in the mid 20s, could see low 20s before it's over. And here's JNUG, not much better. In fact, the JNUG 5th wave is way down there in the low 20s. So that's it. Let's take a look at some of the stocks we follow closely too. I do want to show you oil first. The USO, you can see that a massive topping pattern, if a long uptrend, may be forming here with a left shoulder and the head. Now, if they can't get the USO back above 80.5 and they roll over underneath this level in the mid 60s, you could see a disastrous decline in crude oil. But can't say that for sure, other than say that so far we're forming a coil in here, holding the trend line as well. But this is critical for oil. If oil doesn't go back above 81 and reestablish the trend, it then gets down below this double line here, that is support line, support zone, and then it's trouble in River City for oil. We'll just have to see what they want to do. Gas, not gas, had a nice recovery after plummeting in June. Big recovery, V bottom right hand extended a wedge, a breakout, and now looking for a test of the highs in the 130, 335 zone. Got a bunch of stocks to look at. On the long side, ABCL, which was a swinger bars here, broke out and went up to the top of the channel before pulling back. It's at key support. Careful on this one. ADTN, beautiful rising pattern and a rising wedge. Very strong pattern in this market, near multi-year highs. Matter of fact, there's a triple top here going back, way back into 2014. So 8-year highs right in this zone. If it does break out, it could run hard with the target in the 30 range. AEHR broke out of a base, pulled back. We put a swing on it. It had a beautiful swing for the tech traders, making both of my targets. And now my new target is mid-20s. AEYE, V bottom pop, right-handed extension, double quadruple bottoms. It sure looks like an inverse head and shoulders in a big one. Watch for this one to get over 7.5, 8 and make a bigger move, perhaps in the 9-10 zone. APDN explodes, orderly retrace, and then Friday was a big pop on it, up 14%. Volume picked up a little. Next target, 7. Cold Stock Alliance Resource Partners, what a fantastic chart. I want to show everybody this. It's gone from 3 to 24. It's got a rising channel. Your target is 26. ARRY, nice inverse head and shoulders. This is a solar stock with a breakout and a flag now. This one's traded in the 60s, 50s, high 50s. I think we're going to get back up. Initially, the first target is 27.7.5. ASTS broke out and went vertical. They're taking out the resistance at 7. Well, all the way up and doubled to 14.25 in about 2 weeks. The pullback is a nice little bullish wedge potentially. Keep your eyes on this pattern. If it breaks out, we could run into the high teens. EBDL's beautiful stair step V bottom platform, breakout flag, breakout, another flag. It does have 5 waves up, so it's more dangerous. But your next target is 8.5 and 11. AXSM, big base pattern. Triple bottom. Pop to resistance, pull back, triple top. Triple top broke out Friday with big energy. Up 40% one day. Your target's going forward at 75. AXTI broke out with a breakaway gap. It's got a rising channel now. Strong pattern, 10.75 target. Bluebird Bio, inverse head and shoulder, breakaway and spike up to my target, and then pull right back hard. Friday it did bounce, but you better hold the support under 540. Nice pattern on BRCC. Looks like a V bottom with a platform and then a pop and a little tight flag. Get through here. Looking for 12 and 14.5. BTU in the coal sector, great long-term chart. Consolidating nicely. Broke out Thursday, inside day Friday. If we get to this zone, your target's 30. I want you to see this one, CECE, long downtrend, followed by inverse head and shoulders or right-handed extended V breakout. Went up to the target and then some. Triple top there. And your next target is about 12. Coal stock CEIX, consolidated energy. Look at that runner. New all-time high on Friday. Looking for more. Extension target, 84. CGC, swing trade, broke out, stalled, backed off orderly. Looks like it has more to go. Target 4.5, 5.5, 6.5. Clearfield, one of our better swing trades this year, broke out. We put a swing on. It's gone vertically from 70 to 123 and change. And it looks higher to me. I'm not going to be shocked at 145.50. CPNG, Coupang broke out. We put a swing on it. It pulled back and then popped and pulled back and reached my target and then backed off. Support 16.25, target 23. CPRX, one of those better looking junior bios, 6 to 14 and change. And a little flag here. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, I think. Next target, 17. CBLG, another inverse head and shoulder breakout flag and pop. Now another wedge forming. Get this one up to 35, and you may be running into the high 30s, low 40s. BCGO, V bottom with a wedge, coiled, got narrow near the apex, and a breakout to the first target zone. Next target, 12. DGII, long base, breakout, little mini flag, explode, now rising wedge, very strong pattern. Next target, 40. DKNG swing, breaks out, pulls back, breaks out again, put a swing on it. It's run from 14 to 21 and now pull back to test support. Need to hold it right about there. EAR exploded for 2 days and pulled back for 2 days on low volume, but that's a breakout move. Love to see if it holds support right about 22205. Once you take out 340 or so, you might see 4 3/4. EDU base out, breakout, rising channel, multiple waves, currently in a coil near the apex. Targets 29, 34. ELF Beauty, inverse head and shoulders, right there. Breakout, the flag, pop, a rising wedge, strong chart, 46.7 target. Ford Motors broke out. You put a swing on it there. It's run up nicely to target and backing off a little bit. Your next target, 18.5 and 20.5. Foot Locker, big move last couple weeks, last 4 weeks has gone from under 25 to explode on Friday 641 to reach 40, closing 38.39, up 641, 20%. Major breakaway move and a gap fill as well. Next target 45. First solar in the solar sector on the leader, massive breakaway gap, pop 4-day flag, breakout another flag. Well, there may be one more leg left, but it is at resistance up here. It goes way back. So let's see if we can get through it. Then I'd be looking for mid 100s. G9, nice chart. Coil broke out and now it's consolidating in this zone. Next target 24 and 30. General Motors along with Ford also broke out, retested, broke out here, got to resistance at first target there. The next target 47. GOSS, another junior buyer with a distinct channel, breakout, retest, explode, flag, pop to resistance. And your first target from a year ago, where there's plenty of lateral resistance as well. Next target might be 16.5. GTHX, junior buyer with a pop, stair step UA higher, flag, wedge, target 18. Hudson's been on a tear for the last year and a half, almost 2 years now, taking it from under $1 to over $10. It's currently consolidating near key resistance, but intermediate target is 14. Inmed broke out, we put a swing on it. It's been stair step up nicely until recently. With the pullback now, it's in jeopardy of a breakdown, but the key target and support level 28.5. Target 40. INVZ broke out, we put a swing on it, ran for a few days and backed up sharply. Now it's back towards a level where I'm a little concerned about it. Your support is 44. Jack Specific, multi-year highs, highest level reached since 2018. That target is 38. Good chart. JDSD is a gold bear. And you can see with gold down, this has been moving up steadily and may have another wave up. My targets now, 17 and 22. Keimer, big reversal from the coil, breakaway gap, ran up to the channel top and lateral resistance, and pull back. Pullback is taking us back near the prior high, near the trend line. And then it bounced Friday. My target is now 40. Lucid, I think, is breaking down here. I don't like the trend line break. I don't like the way it's acting in here in particular. Your support now lies down there about 15.5. Lumber liquidated looked like a breakout to me on Tuesday. It backed off, bounced Thursday, but Friday is a technical breakdown in my opinion. So out of it right now, waiting to see if it elongates the trend and breaks out again. This is going to need over 11 for me to get excited about it. LNTH, fantastic long-term chart, one of the best on Wall Street. Currently in a 6-day flag, looking higher, 95. Liquidity breaks out of a base, pulls back and forms a wedge. I like this setup. If it holds here, next target is 11.5. Mara, I want to show you how some of the Bitcoin stocks have caved lately. So it's looking pretty good in here. It broke lateral support on Friday with a little mini breakdown and a drop of 15%. We're out. MICS, IPO pops, coils, and maybe breaking out again. Hot little stock. MP came down hard, bounced, put a swing back on it. It's got a falling channel, or falling little wedgie. I like the look if it can only hold right where it is, and that might be a perfect flag. Next target, 41.2. MRSN breaks out of a base in a long downtrend, platform, pop, flag. Next target, 10. Microvast. I would wait on it, doesn't look ready yet. If it gets through the 335.45 range, I might. Myovant, V bottom, platform, pop, flag, breakout, reaches two of my targets, got up to 19 and backed off. Now looking at the long-term chart, we break out of this level, we might see 24.5. Nanox pop, broke out, pulled back, it's consolidating. Just don't want to see it drop from here. There's a nice channel on it. Any further damage and you could retest lower levels. And that's YS, after a year consolidating, it popped and it turned right back down. Right now it's rebounding again with a breakaway gap. Might see that test 20 again. Navitas Semiconductor breakout, pull back retest. Overall, I like the look. I like the group too. Once he gets up to the 8.5 area, we may see this run towards 11. Occidental, one of our favorite long-term goals, oils, was broken out on Friday with a massive pop that saw it really exhibit big market relative strength. It only went up 641. We're about 10% on 80 million. It's breakout time. There is a spike here back in May. And it'll probably retest around 74, your next target, then 85. Carry on, got up to the declining top line, backed off a couple, 3 times. It's struggling a bit in here, but I still like it, particularly if it gets over 22.5. Pets popped and then dropped. It's below all over the place, but it's holding support at the trend line, targeting 5.5. P-Lab, one of the better junior semiconductors, solid near the highs, forming some sort of consolidation with a stop around 21.5. Plug broke out of its base, breakaway gap, little flag, we put a swing on it, it ran up nicely. Target number 1, it backed off, so watch this one, it needs to hold around 24. If it gets 32, the target, the next target could be 38. PSTX, base, breakaway gap, pull back and coil at the apex. Keep an eye on this one. Target, 5 3/4, 7. Pubmatic broke out, the breakaway gap, got up to some resistance in here and backed off. Roblox, breakout, swing trade, pop, coil for a month, break out and run to the target finally. Now, pulling back. Did the hold right about there. Revlon's had 2 monster moves, 1 and 2. The third one wasn't as positive or as big volume, but still consolidating or coiling in this area. And should it take this out? Check this out. Look at this angle. Should it take that ascending wedge out? We might be looking at high teens. RFL. Raphael is a institutional client's favorite, one of his favorites, and he says the fundamentals are strong. But I'm looking at the technicals. I put a swing on it a month ago. It then pulled back. It's widened the base or elongated it. If we should pop 275, we're in business for 4 and 5. Rivian deteriorated late last week and broke support. I'm not happy about this one at all. I'll give it a little bit more room, but I think for the most part, I'd wait to see if it recovers. Rhythm, powerhouse, exploded. We put a swing on it right there. It went from 6 3/4 range to 27 and change. 300% move in about 6 weeks. Fabulous chart. Doesn't look done yet, does it? Next target, 31. Seed, disappointing last week as it rolled over every day of the week and went from about 1185 to as low as 915 and finished at 945. For me, it's a technical breakdown, but from the channel and a couple of price supports, it's right on the 50-day moving average. This is the key right here. Siga exploded, imploded, that stair stepped its way higher, then spiked and pulled back from the wedge and broke out. The ascending bull coil is at near the apex. It needs to hold it in this range and pop it and go. Next target, 32. Sky T was a good swing for us. It popped and broke out. We put a swing on it, kept running. Tag number 1 and 2, and now it's made it as high as almost 21 before pulling back to 17.5. If it holds this line, the next target is 24. SPWR and the solar group breakaway gap out of a coil and just keep running. Holding up nicely here, just above the prior high, targeting 29 3/4 of 34. SRTS, beautiful rising channel, coil, pop, pullback. Next target, 18. Superior, broke a long downtrend from the platform, broke out right there, kept running. Beautiful chart. Now this is in a new uptrend. Next target, almost 7. Supernus, also breaking through a triple top. First time we've seen this level in 3.5 years. Next target would be up there, 42. PCDA swing, breakout, pullback wedge, right there. Popped out, ran to the resistance, backed off the retest support. Held it well from the coil, broke out. Look at that flag. Next target, 16.5. TERN broke out of a base, spiked, and now it's got a 2-3 day inside type of coil. Next target, 6.25. TH with an explosive breakout of a falling channel, run up, and now flag again. Looks good for a move into the 1920 range, perhaps. The MDX swing breaks out, put a swing on it. It reached target number 1. Now it's flagging. Looks great. Next target, 50. TOST is not toast just yet. It broke out. It pulled back. It's looking like it wants to go higher. I think we'll see. But the target's going to be back to 22 and 24.5. TRAC broke a base, popped, consolidated, popped and flagged. The next target, if it can get up through 6.5, would be upwards of 7 3/4. Tupperware, a little base breakout, rising flag. Next target would be a gap fill up there, probably close to 17. Baru broke out and backed off sharply, but what a move it's had. Last couple of weeks gone from 11.34 to 24.5, more than doubling before the profit taking pullback on Thursday and Friday. Still like the overall look. The ERV swing trade breaks out, put a swing on it, it kept running. Spiked all the way up to 38, pull back up again now with a new high. Great chart. Next target, 44.5. VLCN Volcon with an explosive move, looked like a swing to me, broke through a triple top and then pulled right back. Let's see what this does next week. Key is resistance at the triple top at 335. Viridian, a big drug news, exploded, pull back, down sideways, consolidating. Next target, 30 at 34. VRNA with a pop and wedge. Looks like it wants to extend, doesn't it? There's your wedge. Right near the apex, this one could pop again. Target 18. VUSI broke out of a base, popped, flag, popped again, Now it's pulled back trend line. Dangerous. Vizio break out, breakaway gap, and a little falling wedge. I like the look of it. Targeting 14 and 17. Trucker yell with a breakaway gap and tag the target I gave at 8.5 and pull back. Nice flip flag. Next target 9.5 and then 11. And finally ZXY, slow steady rise. Tagged it target around the 10 range and then pull back. Next target 11.5 and 14. And folks, I'm going to call it good there. I'm still working on a new box of short sets for everybody. Not quite ready. I can show you the ones that I think are still potentially in play. GPS run up to secondary resistance and backed up. Not as bearish as it was before, but it's had a long decline, so be careful. PNR, same thing. We actually got up through the declining top line, but very ineffectual, very unimpressive. Low volume, it could roll over. Be careful. I would have to say you can cover it. It gets above 51. 31, excuse me. Overstock, not ready yet. It looked like it was going to break out of a base and drop right back down again. So careful. I think with Bitcoin stocks, and this is a related Bitcoin stock, doing what they're doing, this might be vulnerable to one more wave. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are we going to get a fifth? If we do, Overstock might be a $19 stock. ALGN, same thing here. Tried to rally, got barely above the trend line, formed a bear flag. Very dangerous in here. If we crack that, we could see a drop under 200. Robert Half, which I gave you as a swing short back here in around 99, reached all the way down to 73, and now it's got what I consider yet another bear wedge. Now, it may have broken the trend line, but I'm not impressed. Only if he got back above 84 would I cover. FN off my list because of the strong rally. Ambarella trying to bounce back after multiple waves down, but it needs to break back out above 94. HLI, same thing. A lot of these stocks have come down and rallied back to resistance. A lot of resistance is right there. If it rolls over, you're going to see this back to 81.75 and maybe even as low as 65. Garmin has been in a steady downtrend for a year. Remains in one. Any break below 92, and we're looking at a stock in the low to mid 80s. CDNA, another bear flagger wedge. Terrible looking chart. Long downtrend. Did not participate well in this rally. Neither did GRVY, although it's gone sideways, it still hasn't broken anything and it's vulnerable if it cracks 42. ANVS, a nice same kind of pattern. Many of these stocks trying to base out the ones that haven't broken out, but very, very vulnerable in my opinion if the market does roll. This is the kind of stock when you don't participate in a rally, and that's the best you can do. When the bear wave comes, it'll hurt you. SSTK, same thing. Long downtrend. Trying to base out in here, but it looks like it could roll over just as well. Mercovia, similar base breakout of not really a breakout, a spike up. Work to do on that one. Upwork looks terrible. On the bear flag, it's starting to roll over. At least a retest of the lows may be in order. And finally, FVR, I realize these are out of order sequence-wise, but alphabetically, doesn't matter. This is another bear flag for this stock. If it doesn't get going soon, it could roll over and be in the low 20s. Folks, that's a look at the indices, the technicals, the components of the Nasdaq 100, the generals, so to speak, some of the major ETFs, and a look at a long list of longs with just a brief peek at a few weak companies that are on the short list. That's it for this weekend and today. Please review this in depth. Do it a couple times. Prepare yourself for next week. You're going to need it. Have a great rest of your weekend. This is HB wishing you well. Bye, everybody.